Too many leaders fail to make well-informed decisions collaboratively because they didn't prepare to bring dozens of high-powered personalities together in a unified direction. That's why this 3-part training is dedicated to your leadership journey. In part 2, we're going to talk about your decision making at the team leadership level, how leaders can facilitate internal disagreements, have healthy confrontation, and hopefully bring their team together around a consensus of being courageous. If you're an executive leader or an entrepreneur, you already know that internal disagreements are just part of the territory. So I'm not going to tell you you shouldn't have them or what it looks like, because the pioneering journey is filled with high highs and low lows. But what I am going to tell you is a team that cannot make decisions cannot make progress. If your team cannot work together to offer the company or the community a clear sense of direction, then you're putting the organization's health and its overall safety at risk. So this is a really big deal, and I think the root issue is that the team cannot get crippled by indecision. Okay, so with that in mind, leaders have to focus a lot more on how they're going to facilitate internal disagreements. They know that it's okay, it's part of the job, but it's not okay to let it continue, because when drama goes unchecked, then trauma shows up in unwanted ways. Now, when dealing with internal disagreements, we're not trying to sell tickets, and have some sort of MMA match. What we're doing is we're bringing people into a safe space, and we're promoting peace. We're promoting unity. We are emphasizing that we're on the same team. We're here to work it out, and everybody in that conversation has a voice and has a choice. And it's kind of a double-sided approach to bring responsibility and dignity to each person in that conversation. When we say that everyone has a voice, it means that you can speak up here and you'll be heard, and we appreciate your feedback. And then when everyone has a choice, it means that at the end of the day, you are responsible for you, and this team is going to be responsible for the organization, and you may or may not be able to make it work, and that's okay, because everybody has a choice. Now, this really does go without saying, but everyone on your team, particularly leaders, they deserve respect, and they deserve for you to be responsive. And then based on that foundation, you can then meet with people and respond based on their behavior. And so at that point, they're responsible for the way they talk and act, but you know that you've done everything in your ability to show respect and to be as responsive as possible. I think the goal for any team facilitator in this situation would be to disarm disagreements before they blow up, and before it has a really negative impact on the rest of the team or the organization or the brand. The best medicine is just to go face to face and to be relational when you can. But if you already know that this is beyond you, you have to be prepared, and you have to have a support system, and you have to have different layers of help or interaction or even intervention, so that way ultimately you're doing what's best for the individual and you're protecting the organizational culture overall. What you have to remember as an executive leader is that there's going to be a lot of decision fatigue that gets wrapped into these kind of interactions. And at the end of the day, you have to help the team overall keep making decisions, so that way it can keep making progress and it can keep its promises to the people that it serves. And so at the end of the day, you can't have these dragged out stalemate situations, you have to seek a resolution, and you have to work sometimes with all of your might just to get these sorts of scenarios to a resolution so that the team can move forward. And sometimes that does kind of raise the situation to a confrontation. And it's important that we practice and prepare to have healthy confrontations on our team. Healthy confrontations are not a sign of weakness, that we couldn't get along or that, everyone's up in arms. Healthy confrontation is just that. It can be healthy. It can be life-giving. Anytime you and I commit to speak the truth in love, we're actually serving other people. And again, healthy confrontation is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a vote of confidence in the team's future, that you're willing to make things better. You're willing to, do the future work and to make sure that everybody is healthy and motivated to put in the work going forward. It can come in a number of ways at a number of levels, but ultimately what we're saying is that we are choosing to be a champion level team that can overcome the odds and that can go through the opposition, because we are not willing to get, pulled apart. When things come up, we're going to confront it, we're going to work on it, and we're going to make things better. And I love this analogy of, a boat or a ship in the ocean. As long as the ocean and the waves do not sink it from within, then it can handle anything on the outside. And that really is the metaphor for our teams. We can handle anything that comes at us as long as we don't get pulled under from within. So for leaders who are committed to their teams, this is one of the ways we can serve them. It's not always fun, but it is really fulfilling when you have done the future work again and again. You've been putting in the reps, you've been working on trust building, team building, skill building, and you're kind of getting ahead of things, right? You're being proactive, and you would rather do that relational maintenance at scheduled times and in safe spaces instead of just waiting for the team to have some kind of blowout on the highway, and then you have to do roadside assistance and have this kind of more crisis approach to it. Have the tools ready to deal with internal disagreement and healthy confrontation, and then go a step further and be proactive about emphasizing health at the personal and the professional level in your team. Now, before we go further, let me say thanks again for preparing for a really long, strong leadership journey. That's why this podcast is here. So make sure you subscribe to Prepare to Go there. And I'm challenging you to prepare more leaders, and you can accept my challenge by finding the link to the Prepared Leaders Challenge below. Okay, so if you're this far into the training, way to go. It means that you are committed to your leadership journey and you're hopeful about it turning into a leadership community. And that's why I really want to help you pivot and move past executive decision fatigue and actually get proactive in expanding your executive capacity, sharing the load, preparing the way, so that way more leaders are making better decisions and feeling good about it. When we can inspire people and call people higher to that map of our culture and who we are and where we're going, then we're actually building a consensus in our team to rise above the pettiness and the messiness that comes with the job, and we actually go higher and we build consensus to be courageous. When we're willing to be courageous and we're willing to actually identify with our hopeful future and identify with our vision and our mission, then we can actually go the distance, we can make a difference, and we're doing it not in spite of our differences, but because our differences are helping us to be stronger. And I'm not talking about differences in value, but I am talking about our unique strengths and the contributions that we're making to the team. All right, next up, we're going to talk about how good executive decision making can actually set you up for success on the next level, which is pioneering leadership, where we start thinking about the direction of our organizations and our movements and how they're going to make a big difference on the next generation. Until then, remember, you're going places, so prepare to go there.